game show that's 3 dimensions away from Batman Arkham Origins being remastered on the PS5 and Xbox X. I'm your host 3D Jake, and today we're looking at Batman Arkham Origins, released in 2013 on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. Batman Arkham Origins is a video game that was developed by Warner Bros. Montreal. It is the prequel to Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City, and this time around it was developed by WB Montreal. And of course, Rocksteady was busy developing Arkham Knight, so basically, this game was developed. You know, they did do some coding and tweaking on this game, or tinkering on this game. They weren't tweaking on the game. Hey man, this is great. We're tweaking, man. Arkham Origins, man. Although sometimes the glitches in the game do feel like it's tweaking. The game, yeah, but they basically did some coding and laid out the framework and map work and everything, because they were actually thinking about developing a Batman Arkham prequel first, but then they were doing Arkham Knight, so they said, you know what? Let's just let another game studio do it. And then WB Games like, we really want another Batman game, because they said it's going to take us a while, but 2014 would be our earliest we can launch Arkham Knight. And they're like, we really would like a game now, because 2011, that's like 4 years. We don't want to wait that long. So they're like, all right. So they got, WB Games to develop the game in Montreal. And they're like, hey, look, just can you do this? And they're like, yeah, sure. So then, of course, they did it. And they developed it and everything. And, like, Rocksteady Games did some groundwork for them, laid everything else. Like, all right, this is y'all's now. And then they went and developed the whole game, and by January of 2013, the game was like 96% done. And so, the game got the guy who made God of War 2, I think, or 3, Eric Holmes, to direct the game. The game is essentially a prequel to Batman Arkham Origin, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. And this time around, so because of the game being a prequel, they don't have the late, great Kevin Conroy and the great Mark Hamill reprising the roles in the game as Batman and the Joker. Instead, they have Roger Craig Smith as Batman and Troy Baker as the Joker. And the game is a fun game. I really enjoyed this game. I was super excited. I begged my mom to get me this game when it came out in 2013. I begged her, and then she's like, wait for Christmas. So I had to wait. And it came out in October. I had to wait until December to get this game. I was so jealous watching on YouTube people play this game over and over. And this was early 2000s, so it wasn't great internet quality. Or it wasn't like early 2000s. It was like, 2013 on YouTube. So it wasn't fantastic YouTube. Like, it was like 720, that most computers could run at max. And 180 was really not really a high bar, because some computers could not run 180. So I'm like, man, my computer can run so I literally had to watch on my mom's big computer on a 720, like watching somebody play this game, and I'm like, I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to play it. And so I'm really waiting. So Christmas Day, the second I got it, I unwrapped all my presents. Went in there after that. I went in there, put that thing inside the disc, Xbox 360 tray, played the hell out of it. I was super excited. And you know what? I have fun memories of this game. It is a perfect, near perfect game. There is a lot of things I love about this game. Like, I love, like the idea that it's set on Christmas Eve. And there's a contract, because the plot of the game is, it's Christmas Eve. There is a plot on Batman's head by Black Mask. And he hires all these assassins to kill Batman on Christmas Eve. So think of it like Die Hard. Essentially, there is themes of Die Hard, and this time around, and there's even a hotel that have a whole thing where you have to fight the bad guys in a hotel, and I think that's really cool. I really enjoyed this game. Even though there's a lot of Die Hard ripoffs, especially in the hotel aspect of the game does start out with Black Gate, a prison thing where you have to go in there, which like inmates break and stuff, and there's a lot of cool things about this in the game. Like, I really enjoy. The whole idea of like Batman meeting the Joker. There's a big twist in the game, and spoilers if you've never played the game, where Black Mask, turns out, is the Joker in disguise. And the real Black Mask, he tied up and kidnapped, and Joker's been posing as Black Mask the whole time to kill Batman. And this is the first time they've met, and it's the first time he actually thinks, the first time he actually meets the Joker is, in full form, is when Joker blows up a building and he grabs and says, how many people did you just kill? And the Joker was just a joke because there's nobody in that building. And I think that's so clever. That's something so the Joker would do. And there's a great villains like they finally introduced into the Arkham world, where the Executioner, where he shoots electricity, or it might be the electrocutioner. I think it's the executioner. It might be electrocutioner. I'm sorry if I don't get it right. But he shoots, it has electric gauntlets, and he shoots electricity, so he might be the electrocutioner. And he gets killed by the Joker in the most brutal way. Bird throws him out of a building, falls to his death, and then falls on top of a Christmas tree and dies. And Batman steals his shit and then uses it later. There is abilities in this game, by the way, where for instance, that because the prequel, in Arkham Asylum we're limited to these gadgets. Okay, so this is a prequel, then how come Batman doesn't have these gadgets in Arkham Asylum? Because, for instance, he doesn't get until the second game, Arkham City, these bombs that, ice bombs where he can walk across the ice and stuff like that, or freeze things. So basically he has glue bombs in this game, and I understand this is a third game, but technically it's the first game. So basically it's like, okay, shouldn't he have this technology then? Because it's kind of breaking continuity a little bit. The game kind of does break continuity a couple times in the way, because for instance, the game does feel like, okay, there are certain characters in this game that are not in this game, or for instance, Black Mask does not look like Black Mask we see a picture of in Arkham City. Also, Joker, for instance, Arkham Asylum is this is the first time in the game Arkham Asylum's been broken out, or something like this has ever happened to Arkham Asylum, is in the Arkham Asylum game. But yet, we have this exact thing happen in Arkham, and then Arkham Origins. So should they say, hey, this is the second time this has happened? Stuff like that, and it just, just something like that of continuity does not really make sense in a way, and just things like that. And also the mapping does not look like the mapping from the game. For instance, if you look at the first half up north of Gotham looks exactly like Arkham, City. But then when you have the Royal Hotel and you have the GCPD, I'm like, that does not look like that from Arkham City. So that's breaking continuity. There's things like that breaks continuity. It's not as 100% faithful. I do respect Rocksteady from trying to make it this is part of continuity, because if you play Arkham Knight, you go in there and you see okay, you have Deadshot's gun, Deadshot's guns, and you have you have Anarchy from Arkham Origins and stuff like that, and you have all this cool stuff from Arkham Origins, that's from Arkham Origins, Anarchy. I do like the game. The game does have the main story is fantastic with Black Mask and the twist and all that stuff. There is a lot of cool Easter eggs in the game too. There is some nods of Walking Dead with the head in the jars, which was Walking Dead at the time was the Governor storyline, which was really popular in the TV show. So I think that's really popular, and I'm really glad that they did that. The game also is really popular. I really enjoy this game. There also is the story. I think is strong. It's really strong. I like this. I think this story is just as strong as the story in Arkham City. As for the side missions do become repetitive, because it just feels like, okay, we're doing Anarchy. Anarchy is basically the Riddler in this game. And basically, once you hit him, he's just it's the same thing as the Riddler, Cyberpunk. And then the Riddler's even in this game, but he's Edward Nashton, which I'm like, his name is Edward Nigma, again with continuity. His name is Edward Nigma, but now it's Edward Nashton. Makes no sense. And then on top of that, you have to go collect these Nigma data packs, which make no sense either. And then on top of that, the Penguin has a ship on this. Why doesn't he have the Iceberg Lounge? I don't know. But then there are some things, again, continuity's not 100% faithful in this game. But I do respect, I do like going to these locations again. The one thing I really like is you can go in Mad Hatter's shop. You can go into, the bank again. You could go into, the Penguin shipyard. You can go back into, Black Mask as, the factory where, he has the underground layer. I like all that stuff you can go back into. There's some great boss battles. Deathstroke, it took me 5 times to beat Deathstroke in the game. And that's on easy. Deathstroke was hard. And Copper, I do like that they try to bring back the Scarecrow night missions that were absent in Arkham City. I like that they brought it back through a Mad Hatter aspect, because I've always liked the Mad Hatter, and I feel like they haven't done enough with them. Arkham City kind of touched upon the Mad Hatter madness thing a little bit, but I feel like the Scarecrow missions, I guess they touched upon a little bit in Arkham City, the Scarecrow thing, but with Mad Hatter. And so I like that they brought this back in this game, and I really respect that this is really embraces that. And I also like that they got Killer Croc back, even though he looks different. And I also like that they brought in, Deadshot. and everything, and I like that. Deadshot brought back, even though also he looks different. I like all this stuff and nods. Now there is some breaking glitches in the game. Like there is some things, like for instance, in the character trophy of Deadshot, if you look at him and if you look at the camera, his pistol just turns pure black. His sniper rifle, whatever, turns pure black, where you can't see the scope of it. That's an issue I had, and also once you go unlock the Cyrus, gold or whatever his crypt. Once it closes the doors, you can never go back in there. So it's and there are sometimes like you can't use the gauntlets because of a glitch or something, and sometimes when you're fighting somebody, you'll do this and then they'll just hover over like this. There's stuff like that, some glitches that the game is not 100% perfect, but I do enjoy it for the most part. And sometimes there are some Enigma data packs that are hard to get because it's like almost like, how the hell am I supposed to get that? It just is almost like impossible. And so other than that, I think the game is really fun. I really enjoy it. The story's perfect. The side missions are pretty good for the most part. I do wish that they, would remaster the game, because I think a remastered version would be a fantastic addition to have to complete the Arkham set. If I had to give this game a grade, I would give it a solid 9 out of 10.